Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chen here from NBC Sports Bay Area. I hope everybody enjoyed the holiday weekend and, just still looking ahead towards training camp. Today, I'm kind of looking at the roster on five players that could have a breakout season in 2025. Now, there's quite a few. I think you look across the roster and different situations, and I think your usual suspects are going to be your usual suspects. Like George Kittle is going to have a good year. So is Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey looks happy and fast and healthy. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, those guys always have good years. And as long as they stay healthy, obviously they will. But I'm talking about five players that aren't necessarily on everybody's radar that I think could have huge seasons and be big contributors for the 49ers in 2025. Um, list you five. My fifth one, now he's had good seasons previously, but I think this year it's going to be even more noticeable, and that's Deommodore Lenoir. He has had great seasons so far. I mean, he's been a starter for most of his 4 years, except for his first year. His last 3 years has pretty much been a starter. He has appeared in 62 games, 47 as a starter. But what I'm really thinking that Deommodore Lenoir steps his game up in 2025 is interceptions. He's only had six in 4 years. Last year he had two. The year before he had three. His second season in the NFL, he had one. So I expect him to do more. And by do more, I believe part of that is interceptions. I also think he could be used on a corner blitz. And so, him getting in there, improving on his one sack season in 2022, I think this is something that the 49ers could use. I think Robert Saleh knows what he can do, has watched a lot of film, and I think there's going to be a few tweaks to the Robert Saleh defense. And I think that includes guys like Jason Pinnock maybe getting in for a safety blitz and Deommodore Lenoir getting in there for a corner blitz. Um, Deommodore Lenoir has been a really solid player over his 4 years, 265 tackles, 177 of those are solo. But I think what really he needs to prove to everybody is that he can also be a ball hawk. He's a guy that has the ability to do that. He has got great coverage skills. I mean, a lot of times opposing quarterbacks don't even throw his way. But for him to be able to read what the quarterback is doing, get in there for a pick or two more than we've seen in the past, I think that's what we're going to see from Deommodore Lenoir. If he stays outside all the time as opposed to going inside and outside, I think there's more chance that he'll have a few more interceptions than he's had in the past. That's what I'm thinking. All right. Number four on my list of who is going to have a breakout season, I think it's going to be Isaac Guerendo. Isaac Guerendo has had solid seasons, but I think this is his time to really step up as Christian McCaffrey's backup. I think the 49ers are going to take it easy on Christian McCaffrey, especially early in the season. With this lighter schedule, if they get up, they're going to have to take, meter Christian McCaffrey in and out. And I think this is Isaac Guerendo's chance to show that he can be a receiving running back as well as a really high powered, fast running back that gets the ball in the backfield and takes it upfield through the A gap or the B gap. Now he'll do the outside zone as well, but I think if Isaac Guerendo can show that he can also be that multi-purpose dual threat, choice route runner, I think he could end up being a huge piece of this 49ers offense. Now, I do think that Kyle Shanahan is going to have to lean on the run game a little bit more just because Brandon Ayuk is going to be out for a little while. Demarcus Robinson could be suspended for a little while. So they are really going to need Christian McCaffrey and Isaac Guerendo to step up their game and really be out there on the field as receivers and running backs at the same time. All right. Number three, Jason Pinnock. Now, Jason Pinnock has had pretty solid seasons. He's appeared in a lot of games. But again, like Deommodore Lenoir, as a safety, he needs to have more solo tackles. And that means in the run game, but also interceptions, getting his hand in the ball past breakups. Jason Pinnock has that ability. He's long, he's fast. He needs to get in there and just, again, like Deommodore Lenoir, prove that he's a ball hawk. This is something that the 49ers defense really needs from its players this year. There were not very many turnovers last year, and that is something that's got to be a point of emphasis for this defense. The turnover rate has to be in the 49ers' favor for them to continue into the postseason, and it's going to mean that guys like Deommodore Lenoir and Jason Pinnock get those get their hands on footballs and are able to pull them in. We've seen guys in the past, yes, lots of pass breakups from Fred Warner, Jair Brown, Deommodore Lenoir. They do have pass breakups, but they've got to hold on to those balls and they've got to make sure that they are turnovers because that's the only way to really secure victory for the team. So I think Jason Pinnock is another guy who could have a breakout season. This is a perfect situation for him. They got him for really a steal, I think. It's a 1-year deal. He is going to work hard to prove that he is worth a big contract coming out of his 49ers season. You know, the 49ers could work out a deal with him, but if he shows that he can be a ball hawk with the 49ers, it sets himself up for a huge contract in 2026. Next standout player who I think is going to have a breakout season is Yetur Gross-Matos. Last year, he was the best looking defensive edge pass rusher in practice. Now, I know it's practice and I know they haven't had their pads on. He actually wasn't out there. He was dealing with some knee issues and then also had the birth of his first child. So he wasn't at minicamp and OTAs much. But last year at training camp, he was the fastest guy into the backfield. And with another year under his belt, I think he knows exactly what Chris Kasiarek wants, but he really was jumping off. I mean, it's not film because we don't get film of practice, but he was really a standout at training camp last year. Had the knee injury. He got hurt in the Raiders preseason game, but he's a guy that I think the expectations are really high. He wasn't able to do a whole lot last year in his first season with the 49ers, but he's a guy who I think is going to sneak up and really surprise guys as long as he could stay healthy. That's my number 2 breakout player of the year. Number 1 breakout player of the year is Ricky Pearsall. Now he's got to get through training camp healthy. He can't be missing practices like he was at minicamp with a hamstring injury. So he's got to stay near the facility, stay with the training staff, and really get in shape for training camp. So I think he's going to work with Brock Purdy during the offseason. They've got a few more weeks, and I know that he's going to make sure that he's healthy, hamstring healthy, and everything for training camp. Ricky Pearsall, and if he can have a great season, I think that'll mean a lot for the 49ers offense with Brandon Ayuk, like we said, and Demarcus Robinson potentially being suspended. I mean, Ricky Pearsall, 31 catches for 400 yards last year, 3 touchdowns. He really could have a huge improvement on that. And he's going to have an opportunity because he's going to be wide receiver 2 behind Juwan Jennings. So he's going to have a chance to have a lot of reps, a lot of time with Brock Purdy, kind of like Jacob Cowing looked like he had built the chemistry with Brock Purdy. I expect Ricky Pearsall to do that as well through training camp. So my 5 players, Deommodore Lenoir, 62 games he's played in, 47 as a starter. He's only got 6 interceptions. I think he could, I'm going to say Deommodore Lenoir goal has to be at least 10 interceptions. I think that would be a breakout season for Deommodore Lenoir. Jason Pinnock, 2 interceptions in his whole career. I would say 5 would be a goal for him. I mean, this defense really has to get better. Isaac Guerendo, 16 games, 84 carries for 420 yards, 4 touchdowns. I would say Isaac Guerendo's got to have a breakout season. He's got to get at least 800 yards. I don't know if he hits 1,000 yards, but because Christian McCaffrey will be there, but if he gets 750 or 8 and maybe 6 to 8 touchdowns, I think that's a good season for Isaac Guerendo. Yetur Gross-Matos, 4 sacks last year, 4.5 of his is his best. I would say Yetur Gross-Matos over under 8 or 9 sacks is what I think. Ricky Pearsall, he's got to hit the 1,000-yard mark. I think for 1,000-yard players, if Juwan Jennings doesn't hit it, Ricky Pearsall has to. George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. I think those guys need to hit 1,000 yards. Those would be my breakout players, 5 of them for 2025. Obviously, the usual suspects, Christian, George, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, they're all going to have big seasons, but these are five guys that the 49ers need to make a huge leap forward in 2025. Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments. Please please subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to hear more of, and let me know if you agree with me in the comments. Talk to you guys soon. Hope you had a great 4th of July weekend.